Okay, guys, so we're live on Facebook and Instagram. And again, the lighting is off on Facebook totally, but the lighting on IG is always spectacular and perfect and wonderful because these filters are divine. But forgive me because as you guys know, I said I was going to be on at 8:30, then I said 8:45, and then voila, my butt jumps on at like what? 8:49. But here's why. Before we get into testimony time, I want you guys to tune in, tap on in, let your people know we're on live. I'm going to tag and I'm going to share this message with my big bro. Testimony. Hold on. Testimony time. It says testimony, child. Testimony time about a big brother, a big brother's advice, to a little sis. All right, so tap on in, watch, share. You guys know how we do. Love. Praise the Lord. And then, of course, I'm going to tag the one and only Curtis, a Wood, aka King Malachi. You know, when God gives me a message, guys, I always am faithful to listen to the word of God. I promise you, I know I'm getting a late start or whatever, but I'm just encouraging somebody tonight. And I wasn't even gonna go and do a whole live thing about this or whatever. But when God tells you to do something, y'all better listen. And here's the bottom line about God. A lot of times, and I'm not beating nobody over the head, in the times we're in, y'all better be listening to God because God is speaking. Now it's up to us to be listening to the voice of the Lord. And I'll talk a little bit about that, to understand the voice of God and to know when it's, God that's speaking with you versus yourself and, or the enemy or, just dreams and things that could possibly be attached to everyday circumstances and things of that nature. So I'm going to get into all of that for all of you sexy people in just a second, but I'm just putting this message out there and I'm tagging my followers and viewers because of the fact that tonight is really a special night. And don't ask me why, but everything happens for a reason in its season and its purpose, right? And as of late, I have been feeling much better. I've been on a much better spiritual high. I have been working out more. I have been swimming more. I have been doing the things, literally, that God has called me to do and things that I'm passionate about, right? So I'm going to talk a little bit about, when it's God, when you're listening to the voice of God, how to get confirmation and things of that nature. And you don't have to listen to me. You can also follow up with your local pastors or anybody that are in spiritual positions in your life so that you can get more understanding. But why am I sharing this tonight? I never had the desire to share tonight, but for whatever reason, because of all the great things that are happening as of late in my life, I'm just being obedient to the Lord. And as I mentioned just a moment ago, it's your girl Aniya A. And as of late, I have been on a spiritual journey. I've been doing much better. I've been cleansing, I've been eating better, working out a whole lot more because as we know, the body is the temple, right? And the temple holds not only the physical, but it holds the spiritual. And again, if you guys are watching, sorry about the lighting, but I'm not in a very good space. I'm working on getting a whole nother space. So by next week, God willing, we will be in another beautiful space. So keep your prayers up for that. But for tonight, it's testimony time. And the reason that I'm sharing this testimony is because I'm feeling led to do so. And it's actually about being in the entertainment industry, being on the journey that I've been on, but also getting this advice from this big brother of mine. His name is King Malachi. You guys may have heard of the Dungeon family. You may have heard of King Malachi, and he's on Facebook. actually as one of my friends, and oftentimes he'll post and tag me in his music and things of that nature. So you'll see a lot of his music, and it's all positive music. Ever since I've known King Malachi, all of his music has been totally positive. We'd be in the clubs together, we'd be traveling all through the ATL together, because as you all know, I had a stint with the hip hop industry in the ATL. That's where that whole thing started off. But the whole rap industry thing is not for me. It's not for me. The way things go down in the whole hip hop industry, no, not even for me. And here's the bottom line. Oh, that's much better with the lighting. Here's the bottom line too with the whole hip hop industry. Could I have made millions, doing the work that I was doing, rapping, being the hip hop empress I was, having a platform, many platforms we had at this time, right? Back in, I want to say, the early 2000s or what have you. Absolutely. But there's a certain degree of selling your soul, selling your morals out that Aniya A was not for. So here's the bottom line. And here's the testimony, because I'm going to talk about the testimony, and then I'm going to get into what's happening presently in the entertainment industry and why I'm actually super thankful that I never went down that road, because at the end of the day, God don't lie. And obviously, he needed me to do some other work for him. And I'm talking about the good Holy Spirit, the good Lord, right? He wanted me to do some other work for him. And that's why I wasn't so keen to doing the work that I was doing in the hip hop industry. And I walked right away, because guess what? It's a much safer and blessed time to be alive and not have all that extra nonsense going on. The money is great, but the extra stuff that you guys see in the hip hop industry, honey, who has time for it? Not Aniya A, honey. But either way, here's the bottom line with the testimony that I'm sharing tonight. And somebody I hope is touched and blessed, because this really took me by surprise when this brother sat me down and told me about this many years ago. And King Malachi, I just reconnected with him, and he honestly doesn't even recall the conversation. Look at God. Look how funny this is that I vividly recall this moment. And if you guys know anything about me, half the stuff that I go through, I barely remember my damn self. But this brother, literally, we were driving throughout, I want to say downtown, heading to Midtown, because I was living in Midtown at the time, and the crew was dropping me off at the spot. And literally, it was the most insane thing, because King Malachi and I started talking about, having children, and how, like, as a young woman, I needed to have children and I needed to leave a legacy and all of these other things. And I was like so against having children and bringing any children into this world, because I honestly felt at that time and at that age, right after going through all the relationship dramas that I had been through already, hello, I was already engaged like twice by the time I met these people and we were doing our thing in the hip hop industry. It was hard for me to think about having children in a world that was so chaotic already. Now, this is early 2000s, fam. Well, why is this so important for me to share tonight? Oftentimes, we meet people and we think that they're just a random person. They're not going to impart any wisdom upon us. They don't have much, to share because of the line of work that they're in, or maybe it's because they are people that, don't seem as though they have a whole lot of wisdom. But this brother here, I kid you not, was able to shed some light about why it's important that we as a people continue to procreate. And in that moment, I changed my mind. And in that moment, I started looking at children differently. I started looking at the world differently. I started looking at life a little bit differently. And earlier, I posted about this message that I was going to give tonight, because I wanted to, get you guys ready or what have you. And this is not my normal night to even be on live or what have you. But here's the bottom line. Sometimes you have to just be obedient, like I always say, and trust God for whatever it is that he's doing, no matter what. So at the end of the day, fam, right? Imagine, not ever wanting to have children, listening to Oprah Winfrey talking about being independent, being a Black, strong, educated woman, and all these wonderful things that Oprah always talks about. And then one day sitting down with a brother who already had children by this point and listening to his wise counsel and thinking about the world differently in just one conversation. So tonight, I wanted to share that with you guys, and I wanted to encourage those that are out there to also be free in sharing wisdom. If you are somebody, right? Because there's always a method to why I share certain things. And tonight, for whatever reason, I had to come on and share this because oftentimes our community is so afraid of giving wisdom, of sharing, of telling the truth that we know to be resilient, the truth that we know to be powerful, the truth that we know that can change many lives. Because of how things are set up and how everybody's afraid of backlash and everybody's afraid of, being reprimanded or cursed out and different things like that, it seems as though nobody wants to help a brother or sister. Nobody wants to be able to stand up and say, this is something that you should know, and I'll be the person to share it with you because I feel like it's going to change your life. So instead of us constantly going around and not encouraging one another, because that seems to be like a thing where our community doesn't want to do anymore, like encourage each other, give each other wise counsel. Imagine yourselves in a predicament where you are at a loss, you are going through some kind of problems, you are going through some kind of crises, you are hitting a traumatic block in your life, and you just need a friend to show you compassion and love. Imagine for a moment that you are that person who is lost and you're looking for somebody to just give you a positive word. And when you imagine yourself in that predicament, I feel like it will be much easier for you to be that person to give a helping hand or to share positive messages with your fellow brother and sister. Oftentimes, people are very slow, not even slow, but very conscientious, excuse me, in sharing and giving back and trying to be that person that gives wise counsel. And I feel because of the backlash that people often give, the negativity that sometimes is, thrown in people's faces, that it's hard for people with wise counsel or with good ideas or with positive messages to stand up and be counted, to stand up and say, you know what? The world may say that I might be strange, but I'm going to share this anyway. The world may not be happy with me because I'm being that positive person that's standing up against all the negativity, but I'm going to do my part and I'm going to share a good and positive message because at the very end of the day, fam, you may be saving somebody's life. Or in my case, like Malachi did for me, not only did he change my mind in one conversation, but what he also did is he helped me to leave a legacy. So when you find yourself in predicaments where you're down and out, you're hurting, you're depressed, you have issues because of the traumas that you're seeing, the people around you are dying, people around you are getting kidnapped. I mean, the things that you've seen in the past and things that are currently happening make you feel a certain type of way. Understand that if you have one shred of hope left, if you have just a little peon of faith left, somebody, God will send somebody to encourage you, to empower you, to make sure that you know that you're not alone. And so tonight, for whatever reason, I had to share this message. And I'm literally in the midst of quite a few different, what's the word I'm looking for? Quite a different few roller coasters, right? Like I'm on one roller coaster, I'm getting off one, I'm going on another roller coaster ride. It feels like I'm constantly up and down. It's like ebb and flow, right? Like the ocean. Up one wave, down another wave, up one wave, down another wave. And honestly, I'm not gonna hold you, Sam. I'm actually enjoying the ride because it's teaching me more about my tenacity, but it's also teaching me that I can overcome anything. And so, with that being said, and ever since being reconnected with my big brother, the King Malachi himself, the one that goes around and performs and is able to share positive messages, I want to also share this. When I was in transition, as I was leaving one, facet of life and entering another, which is, giving back and giving back to the children of Haiti and the orphanages and just sharing from my heart and tapping into this place that I didn't even know really existed, I met Malachi on the road of what you can call today like the road of Damascus, right? You know how Paul turned into Saul or Saul turned into Paul and all of that in the Bible, and how there was a transformation that occurred. Oftentimes, and I want you guys to catch this because somebody needs this message tonight. Oftentimes, when God is doing something in our lives, he will literally have us on these roads where we feel as though we don't know if we're going or coming. We don't know which direction to take. We are conflicted in the spirit. We are literally lost in the source because there's something that is greater than us that's about to take place. But we have to be freed enough in our thinking and in our behavior patterns to understand that something greater may be coming. And it may not be greater in the sense where it's money, it's, more property, cars, winning the lottery, any of those things. It may be for the greater good of humanity. And I often talk about that because there is something called purpose in life. And whoever needs to hear this, understand that once you find your purpose in life, fam, nothing could stop you. Nothing could stop you. We're all the way up. So, with that, and before I shut it down, I want to say thank God for those people out there that are positive thinkers, forward thinkers, that are constantly on the road, right? That sometimes don't even know that they're going to meet somebody, but they're always ready with a positive message. They're always ready to give back. They're always ready to say, hey, sis, let me talk to you real quick. Whatever it is that you're battling, whatever it is that you're going through, whatever it is that you are facing right now, not only are you not alone, but you are going to make it. I want to shout out those people that understand that it literally takes a village to do this work on a daily basis when it comes to humanity. None of us are islands, fam, which means none of us are singular, are by ourselves, just out in the water, just chilling. No, we are all a part of a community. We are all a part of something bigger than us. So for those that are selfish in thought or those that want everything for themselves, stop living that life. Understand that the more you give, especially if you're giving from the heart, especially if you have positive messages to share and things of that nature, the more you give is the more you receive. And then I will shut it down by saying this, right? So tonight, as I was heading to take care of some business, because as you all know, like I said, I'm heading in a few different directions presently, which are very, very blessed in my opinion. I am very blessed right now to be able to have the state of mind that I'm in, stand on my own 2 feet, and say, I'm going to conquer whatever is next, no matter what. And tonight, as I was taking care of some business, right? And I have to share this because this is such a positive message as far as confirmation is concerned, as far as me saying, okay, God, I didn't know why I had to share this testimony tonight. So you guys heard it, right? The testimony is this, basically in a nutshell. Almost 20 years ago, 15 years ago, I was in the hip hop industry, hip hop empress and Aniya out here popping, locking, twerking, dropping, whatever. And literally one of my big mentors, my big brothers, sat me down and basically told me, because at that time I didn't want to have children, I didn't want to get married, I already had been engaged. Things were not like what I thought they were, and I didn't see myself bringing in children into this world. In case you're just watching or you're not clear as to what the message is. Because again, I'm reiterating this because I feel like it's going to touch somebody. And if I have to stop everything to share a message for one person, that's what I'm gonna do. Um, and Big Brother King Malachi, who's of the Dungeon family, who's super well known. And back in the day, he was like super lit famous. And we were like underground rappers and everything in the industry in the ATL, but he's obviously known all over, and he's back in Brooklyn now. He sat me down and basically said, Aniya, hey, you're gonna have to have children one day. You're gonna have to, settle down and get married, or just, choose a mate and have a child, because you need to leave a legacy behind. And that brother said that to me literally on the road as we were driving, as we were probably passing some blunts around, you know what I mean? And literally, this brother was able to share in that very moment the positive meaning of leaving a legacy, the positive side of having children, where I never wanted to even think about having children. I didn't want children or nothing, nothing, nothing. So it took from that point in like 2005, 2007 or so, to me having a child finally in 2023. But either way, it was in that second, almost 20 years ago, that changed my thought pattern about having a child, having children, and the power of leaving legacy. So tonight, for whomever is watching or who will watch, understand there is something about the mind. Oftentimes, we don't understand the power of the mind. Oftentimes, we're walking around in a daze. We don't comprehend why it's important to stay with positive thoughts, to listen to positive people, to listen to positive music. You know what I mean? If you want to attract certain things in your life, you have to listen to positive people, to positive messages, because you're never going to attract positivity if you're around negativity or junk or garbage. So that's the message in a nutshell. Shouts out to him. And of course, again, as I was still on the journey of getting my life together, trusting God, reading the Bible, getting into scriptures and things of that nature, I literally ran into Malachi again in the middle of like downtown Auburn Avenue. Like it was like this experience that I can't even describe, but I just started opening up the Bible and reading the Bible for myself, and ran into the brother, and he gave me more wisdom to literally confirm everything that God was trying to do in my life. So I just wanted to share that, because oftentimes when we see people with people in their lives, with people like with me, for example, people see me with a lot of men. They don't understand I'm not sleeping with these men. I don't have, promiscuous ideas about these men. I'm not thinking anything sexually about these men. Oftentimes, most of all of them are giving me wise counsel. They're showing me the game. They're teaching me great things about manhood, about being black, being a black man, being a black woman, being a queen, being a goddess, being, wonderful and created to do great things in life, and leaving legacy. So that's what I wanted to share about that. And moving forward, since I got that point out, God, I hope they received it. Whoever it was for, I pray they received it, because I did my part in regards to that message. Moving forward, because I said yes to God and I was obedient to God, fam, because sometimes we're like, God, why do you want me to share this message? Or why do I have to be so transparent in a moment where oftentimes people don't even like accept transparency? Oftentimes we'll critique people like myself who have these moments where we have to deliver a message, because sometimes it's so hard to digest for the average person. Now, if you're in the prophetic world, if you're in deliverance ministry, or if you're in this, this world where you understand prophecy and being a seer and all those different things, and clairvoyancy and all those different things, because that's what people have said to me most of my life, and you'll understand what I'm saying. It's so hard sometimes to share the message that you have, that God showed you clearly, but the confirmation when it comes is so sexy. So because I said yes to God, and I'm about to shut it down, because this was something that I just wanted to do for God, and I'm doing it, and then I'm shutting it down because I got a lot of research to do. I'm getting back into my writing, fam, and I am going to be looking for not just the office space, because I already have the office space down for the production side, but I am looking for other things too to accompany my writing and things of that nature. So I have my hands full presently, but I'm just praying to God that He's going to send me everything that I need, because in this season, I'm going to the next level. The next level is here. We're claiming the millions, the billions, and we're doing God's work all the way. So let's close it down. As I'm on my journey today, I already said yes to God about this message. So I go to take care of business. And then after that, I'm like, a sister is hungry. Now, listen to this, guys. A sister is hungry. And I already had my mind made up on a particular dish. In Harlem, everything I do is in Harlem. In Harlem, there's an African restaurant that I have been going to for the past, 5 years or so. And in this restaurant, there's a particular fish because I love fish, but I don't eat everybody's fish. Matter of fact, I don't eat everybody's food, period, point blank. Period, blank, point, done. Nah, we're not playing with everybody's food at all. So when I find something that meets my requirements, because I have kind of a tricky taste bud situation, I'll often go back to that same place because from the first time I tasted it, I know what it's supposed to taste like. And I don't play around when it comes to cuisine because then I often go back home and I recreate the meal. But there's certain foods that I can't recreate. So I'll go to that same spot. Okay, so that's neither here nor there. So the funny part is I have been craving this particular dish for a while. And I didn't have the chance to go a couple of weeks ago. So I said, okay, bet today I'm going because I'm going to be right down the street. So I call Roma. I'm like, listen, where's this place again? He's like, okay, it's right here. And I'm like, I'm right there, like 3 blocks away. So I'm like, bet I'm on my way over there. Get there. And for whatever reason, fam, not only did the menu switch up, but it wasn't like the menu switched up. It was the time of like how dinner is being prepared or something. Like the timing was totally thrown off. Like everything changed. And not only that, but the other meal that I wanted, because the fish wasn't going to be prepared until much later or whatnot. So I was like, okay, option two is okay. And I'll share with you guys because this is a very interesting dish anyway. So the fish is really great. Like it's like a red snapper fish, I think fried, crispy, juicy on the inside. They have this particular sauce, divine. And then the second option is called yassa chicken. What is yassa chicken? Africans will know it. Senegalese people know it. It's basically like a lot of onions that's like stewed with like mayo or like mustard or something. Anyway, it's bomb. It's not as bad as it sounds. Like you guys have to research it and look at it. See, I'm sharing some real interesting cuisine with you tonight so that you can understand culture a little differently. But yassa chicken from the Senegalese community is super divine. So moving forward, so I'm like, okay, option two, sis, you know me. I'm always here for the fish, but if you don't have the fish, let me do the, yassa chicken. My sister says, well, I'm sorry to break it to you, but even the woman who's supposed to make the yassa chicken is not even here today. So I'm like, what's going on? Bam, let me tell you something. My girl was like, I'm sorry, I don't even know. Like, I apologize, it's down a third. Well, here's the point. I go down to Melba's. If you guys know anything about me, you know that I love Melba's. Matter of fact, I'm gonna post a very funny video clip of King and myself at Melba's when I'm done or whatever. How about we get to Melba's, we do our thing, and then I'm heading out because I gotta go back uptown. And as we're leaving, I'm like, you know what? It's such a beautiful night. We're just gonna walk like 10 blocks or whatever, catch the bus. I'm not taking no cab, right? Because it's such a beautiful night and the night was still young. So I'm like walking 10 blocks, no big deal. And I come across a location, fam. Now here's confirmation. Here's the blessing in the skies. Here's how God moves. When I told you guys earlier, right? If you don't understand when God speaks and when God moves in your life, or when God orders you to do something or do a certain thing or do things, right, that He requires of you, especially if you're getting a closer relationship, if you don't comprehend all of these things that I'm talking about, there's what you call confirmation. Hold on. Let me just make sure. Let me just make sure. 1 second. I'm just making sure that this sound okay. There's something called confirmation, bam. Okay. And what is confirmation? It's basically when God says, good job, I'm going to bless you. Now I'm going to open the floodgates of heaven for you. And after I've done what God has said to do, hey, Stacy, Stacy is here watching. If anybody is here watching, please send your loves and your likes because I love to interact with my people. So my sister Stacy from the foster care task force is watching, and Pamela Clark from Cheetah Buffalo is watching as well. So I love, love, love getting the confirmations, right? So as I stated, as I'm leaving the location, right, the restaurant, Melba's, and that wasn't what I wanted to eat at all, right? Not that anything is bad with Melba's. You all know I'm obsessed with Melba's. But this particular place that I was supposed to do research about, that I was supposed to literally drop everything and, research it and try to find this place and get a jump start on my health. It has to do with my health. It has to do with getting back on the right track, right? And literally, it felt right in my lap tonight. So that's what you call confirmation. Who would have thought, right, in their divine thinking and in their ordinary thinking, that in saying yes to God, to sharing this message that took less than an hour, less than 30 minutes to share, that He would open up such a blessing for me. And in that instant, fam, I was literally able to say, thank you, God, because this is something that's not going to only help my physical state, but it's also going to help my mental state. Because when you cleanse your body, when you're able to get detoxed, right? Because this is about detoxing your body, right? Which I need. I know when my body needs a detox, especially having a 10-pound little turkey ham kid, right? I love them. You have to be able to detox your body, right? And that's something, and I have been putting off for so long because I didn't know where I was going to find this place. And I didn't know, because you could search for it, because I've searched. I have searched. I haven't gone deep into the research and gone to the individual places because that requires a lot of time. And when you search on things online, oftentimes it sends you to whatever little hole in the wall, junkie spot, whatever. But tonight, your girl Aniya A is so blessed to say that because I said yes to God for something like this, being transparent, talking about a conversation that happened almost 20 years ago, God opened this door for me to get my health back on track. And that's just part one. Part two, amen, is as you guys know, for the past couple of days, well, you guys don't know too much about it, but I've been thinking about it, and it was confirmed through the Bible reading, the scripture from the Natural Action Network Youth Huddle yesterday about, the boxing and everything like that. I've been thinking about getting back into the boxing ring and doing my, boxing thing again. I'm a super girly girl, but I'm all into the sports. I'm all into the full body workout. I'm all into getting those, gloves on and really hitting that big old sack or whatever you call it. Child, I don't know. But anyway, do you guys not know that part two of the blessing was when I literally walked past the location that has boxing and training and all of that right there, also in Harlem. So I'm just saying, fam, I feel super blessed. And so I want to end this thing on a positive note because today was one of those days. It started off very early in the morning with me revealing a whole lot of my past to a particular person that I love so much. Shouts out to her. I'm gonna shout her out, Miss Sharon. I love her so much. Sharon, because she spells her name Sheron. And she's a beautiful Jamaican woman that I've loved and known for so many years. And so this morning, I started off the day just sharing, something that was inside of me to share with her in regards to conversations we've been having. And after that, I took a nap and I felt much better. But then as I relived, now here's again how I'm closing tonight with a positive message though, because this all goes hand in hand. As I was reliving some of the things that I had gone through in my life, right? I started crying earlier. Now, here's somebody that rarely recalls the past because obviously I internalized so much in my life, right? That I often don't dig deep into my past because so many things are so painful. And so this morning, when God put it on my spirit to share with Miss Sharon some of the things that I had experienced, as I was going into Harlem, I started to cry out of nowhere. I was just reliving the past. I'm talking about like 15 years ago past. I'm talking about things that I suppressed in my spirit. So I started to cry, but then I realized it was like a cleansing. So that's why, fam, I often talk about, right? Getting healing, trying to heal yourself, trying to speak to people, go speak to counselors, go speak to your pastors, go speak to people that are of wise counsel, because oftentimes we are so hurting inside. We have so much pain inside that we suppress so much of ourselves and our past inside, and we don't realize that everything that we have stored up inside of us are actually combusting. Like there is something that happens with pain that isn't processed correctly. There's something that occurs with the issues that we're trying to hide because we don't want to open that band-aid up and let that scar breathe. You know, when you get a cut, right? When you get a cut, right? If it's not seriously deep and seriously wide and you don't need stitches, you will put like a band-aid or like some gauze on it and cover it up and make sure that it's dry so that it's not wet and it doesn't receive moisture and exposure. But fam, you cannot keep that band-aid or that gauze on that cut all the time, like for 30 days, 60 days, 120 days. No, you have to be able to let that cut breathe so it can heal, because the skin is self-healing. Skin is self-healing and it has properties. It has the natural effects of nature that happens. And I'm not a doctor, so I can't tell you the chemistry and the science behind it, but I could tell you what my eyes be seeing. And when I get a cut, after a little while of putting ointment on it and putting a band-aid, when I let that thing breathe, something happens, a scab is formed. Next thing you know, the skin is back on top and we good to go. But if we continue to let pain fester within and we don't address the pain, the trauma, the possibilities of new traumas attacking us, new pains attacking us, then what we're doing is we're spiraling out of control. When we drink liquor to cover up our pain, we're only causing ourselves more pain because liquor is a depressant. Liquor and so is smoking marijuana. These are depressants. The issues that you're fighting are going to go away, but not forever. They will go away for a few minutes. How do I know? Ting, 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 ting. Your girl Aniya, heavy on the smoke, heavy on the drink, but God had to deliver me from it all. Literally. I'm sober today and I still don't know how. I just thank God. Like literally, I've tried it several times, but because of my pains and my traumas and my past and everything else that I've gone through, I never would have thought your girl would have been sober. Not for more than 10 days at a time, but God did it. But I had to force myself every day to walk away from the alcohol, walk away from the weed when I was smoking it, even though it's like totally normal now, even though it's legalized. But why do people smoke? And we're going to get into this for just a couple minutes because God is putting this on my spirit. Because there's some of you that are living in so much pain and you don't want people to know. And let me say this. God just put it on my spirit to share. I know a man, we're not friends anymore because God, he's the devil. I know a man who had this kind of weed. He would spend a lot of money for this weed. And let me tell you guys something. This weed is expensive, but one of the things about the weed, y'all, that had me bugged out and my mind was blown because I've been around a lot of weed because obviously you don't want to know. But anyway, um, tell me why this particular strain, you don't have no smell. His eyes never changed into red. There was there was nothing to indicate that this man was smoking ever. You had to see him physically smoking the weed. And I wanted to go deeper with him into the particular strand and all of that about it. But like he thought I was trying to flirt with the weed man. And I was like, nah, like this is real serious for me. I'm so conflicted. I've been around weed most of my life and I've never seen no kind of weed like this. You understand? But it's neither here nor there. But what am I saying about that, right? I don't know why God put that on my spirit, but I will say this about it. I know some people that are smoking that God showed me in the spirit. You're hurting. You keep smoking, you keep drinking, you don't want to face a reality. It's too hard for you to face. But today, you need to stop and really reevaluate your life and try to figure out why is it that you're smoking and drinking so much. And in order for you not to go into that continuum of that downward spiral, because you are heading in a very bad place, this is the word of God for you tonight. Start looking into your fears, your past issues, and really try to identify those hurts and try to see how you can get help, or not even get help, help yourself heal. Because at the end of the day, this message gotta be for you or something. I don't know who you are. I have a feeling I know who you are, but I don't know who this is for necessarily, right? But understand this, whatever it is that you're feeling inside and you can't confront it, you can't be honest with yourself, and you keep drinking and smoking, you're gonna end up in a body bag somewhere because you already have all the pain that's festering within. Then you have all the liquor, then you have all the smoking, then you have the mood swings, and then you have the literal absent-mindedness. I feel like somebody's watching or will watch, and you have absent-mindedness because you cannot face your realities. It hurts too much. The best way to heal is face your realities and stay focused on what you can change little by little. There's a prayer, the serenity prayer. Go get it and start from there. Because at the end of the day, the way you've been maneuvering and going is not the best for you. And you really could hurt yourself and others in the process. That's a direct message from God. I don't know. I mean, wow, I didn't even start off the whole night for this, but hey, I got my blessing today and I'm able to bless somebody. And if anybody needs to understand more about why these messages are coming your way, or signs and wonders and symbolizations, and you've been seeing certain numbers, or you've been having certain dreams and visions, and you don't comprehend them because you're in a state where you cannot control your emotions and things seem so chaotic in your life, speak to somebody of wise counsel. Go to a church or somebody that you can trust and sit with somebody and try to get the healing that you desire. Because at the end of the day, if you want the best result for your future, for yourself, for potentially your family, etc., you have to do the work from now. Lord, I did it. I said it. So with that being said, fam, I'm on my healing journey and I'm so ecstatic and I'm so blessed about it. Not only have I been in the gym more, not only have I been swimming more, not only have I been staying more focused on the business side of everything, getting my back, my look, getting my look, I was gonna say getting my black back in track, but no, getting my black self back on track. I like that better. Getting myself back on track has not been easy. Getting a lot of, positive thinking has not been easy. And so I'm able to share these thoughts with all of you, whoever you are. It may be one person that may watch this, and I don't care, because guess what? That one person needed to hear this message. And that's how God moves. Because when God be speaking to me, it be singular, it be just me. Like, I needed that, Lord. So for you that has been hurting out there, you don't have any hope, or you feel down and out about whatever's going on, seek wise counsel. Sometimes you have to move away from those people that are very close to you, because those that are very close to you, they're going to feed you the same nonsense that they have been feeding you, because this is what you call friendship. This is what you call relationships. You have to go to somebody unbiased and unpack a lot of the issues that you've been feeling and help them to understand where you're coming from, and they can help you sort out the feelings as well as the future, because that's what people in counseling and ministry do very well. They listen. They're not biased. They're not going to tell you things that you want to hear either, because if it's for your better good and the outcome of a greater future, they're going to tell you the truth. Some of us are not ready to hear the truth. Some of us want to be lied to. Some of us want to continue to have our cake and eat it too, but that's not the way it should be, especially when you have a bright future ahead of you. So with that being said, and with me doing this beautiful work tonight and me getting this new information, I'm on this healing journey, and on this path, I'm praying that I don't get any more distractions. But that's not going to happen. I already know my life. I will get more distractions because, hey, it is what it is. But I now see the writing on the wall and I'm able to maneuver better. So, with that being said, I'll be back live very soon. And hopefully, hopefully, my son will give me a moment or two because that boy, yes, yes, very last word. King's potty training moments have been getting better. Today, there was no poop attack on the floor. So, thank you, Jesus. Because if you guys know what I went through a couple of days ago, that's why you haven't been getting updates. Okay, we staying on this positive note though. Oh, fam. Well, we did it. God, we listened, we did the work, and now we're just gonna get back on the right track totally with the health and the beauty and all of the regimens because we want a blessed and best future. With that being said, guys, be blessed tonight. Have a great one. Face your fears, one fear at a time, one issue at a time. Nobody's out here to judge nobody. You know what I mean? If you don't feel safe talking to whomever, take it to somebody that's not biased. Don't take it to your friends and them because your friends are gonna just tell you some stupid stuff that they've been telling you. Obviously, they're your friends for a reason. All right, I gotta go. Bye, guys. Good night. Yes, sharing the post. That's a new thing they're asking.